protecting our kids as best as we can, and also understanding the role that they play in this really historical family.
For years, rumors have circulated claiming that Meghan Markle and Prince Harry used surrogacy to have their children. But the speculation reached a new level after reports surfaced that Prince William allegedly authorized an internal investigation into the circumstances surrounding Meghan's pregnancies, including claims that DNA testing was ordered for Harry's children. Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, and Lilibet, an allegation that has not been officially confirmed but is believed by some to be an attempt to finally settle long-standing controversies. The rumors first gained traction in early 2019 ahead of Archie's birth, beginning quietly on royal-watching blogs and forums, before exploding after May 2019, when Meghan and Harry broke with decades of royal tradition by refusing to present their newborn outside the hospital, a moment the public had come to expect after seeing figures like Princess Diana and Kate Middleton do so. While the couple cited privacy, critics viewed the decision as suspicious, especially after confusion emerged around the birth announcement when Buckingham Palace initially stated Meghan was in labour, only for it to later be revealed that Archie had already been born. A discrepancy supporters dismissed as media management, but skeptics saw as conflicting information that fueled questions about why there was any delay at all if everything had been straightforward. The secrecy surrounding the birth location only intensified speculation, as it was later reported that Archie was born at the Portland hospital. Yet key details were kept tightly controlled, including the absence of publicly visible medical signatures that royal watchers had long been accustomed to seeing. To critics, this lack of transparency created space for doubt, and around the same time, photos and videos of Meghan Markle during her pregnancy were re-examined online, with some claiming her baby bump appeared to change size or position from day to day. This fueled the spread of the term moon bump, a phrase used by conspiracy theorists to suggest a prosthetic pregnancy belly, a claim for which no concrete proof was ever presented, yet one that quickly gained traction across gossip blogs and social media. As speculation escalated, some public figures moved from questioning to outright accusation, most notably Lady Colin Campbell, who repeatedly challenged the official narrative and argued that clarity was needed on whether Meghan had physically given birth, suggesting that surrogacy, if used, could raise issues under royal succession traditions requiring heirs to be born of the body. The controversy widened further when Meghan's estranged relatives entered the discussion, particularly her half-sister Samantha Markle, who gave interviews claiming surrogacy was possible and cited alleged conversations their father, Thomas Markle, had described about Meghan freezing her eggs years earlier. Assertions offered without evidence, but widely circulated by tabloids across the UK and the United States. Because the claims came from a family member, they gained traction even among people who had not followed the earlier speculation, and by late 2019 into 2020, social media became the primary engine driving the narrative, with entire accounts dedicated to analysing photos and videos of Meghan Markle frame by frame, claiming her baby bump appeared to fold when she sat, or that her movements seemed too flexible for late pregnancy assertions, often attributed vaguely to unnamed medical experts, and never supported by evidence, yet repeated often enough to spread widely. When Meghan and Prince Harry stepped back from royal duties in early 2020 and relocated to North America, the move, widely labelled Megxit, deepened distrust among skeptics, who interpreted the departure as an effort to escape scrutiny. Years later, renewed attention followed the release of Harry's memoir Spare, with online commentators dissecting his account of Archie's birth and arguing that the timeline for returning home sounded unusually fast for a first delivery, despite wide variations in real-world medical experiences. The controversy reignited again in 2021 when the couple announced the birth of their daughter Lilibet Diana in California, outside the traditional royal system, with even fewer public details released, prompting some media personalities to openly call for DNA proof of paternity, demands not backed by any official authority. At the same time, legal and historical debates about royal lineage resurfaced, as commentators pointed out that succession traditions historically required heirs to be biologically born to the royal mother, leading critics to argue that surrogacy, if ever proven, could carry constitutional implications. By the mid-2020s, the controversy had settled into a familiar pattern. No new evidence ever emerged, yet the speculation never fully disappeared, resurfacing every time Meghan Markle and Prince Harry appeared publicly, gave interviews, or shared photos of their children. Despite years of online debate, no verified public record has ever supported the surrogacy allegations, and official accounts have consistently maintained that Meghan gave birth to both children, leaving the issue endlessly argued, but never conclusively settled in the court of public opinion. This unresolved tension has fueled broader questions about what the consequences would be if surrogacy had been used by working members of the royal family, particularly because paternity has always been treated as a serious matter tied directly to succession. For centuries, the British monarchy has placed enormous importance on lineage, with a child's right to inherit historically depending on being born within a lawful, recognized marriage, and even though modern laws have relaxed some rules, the underlying principle has remained intact. Today, unlike in the past, paternity testing is easy and reliable, meaning questions that might once have been ignored can now trigger legal reviews and intense public debate, as many believe that confirming biological descent is essential to determining entitlement to royal titles and positions. While the monarchy has never formally relied on scientific testing, growing awareness of genetics has increased public curiosity about parentage, keeping the discussion alive even without proof, and ensuring the controversy continues to linger rather than fade away. Questions about who a child is truly fathered by are especially sensitive within the monarchy, because any uncertainty about a child's biological connection to the sovereign can invite challenges to their place in the line of succession. And while modern laws now grant sons and daughters equal rights, the core principle remains unchanged. Succession depends on legitimate and direct descent. Surrogacy complicates this further, not because it automatically negates biological parentage. The intended parents may still be the biological mother and father, but because it raises issues about how the birth occurred, how transparent the family has been, and whether the process aligns with long-standing royal traditions. Historically, there is no evidence that senior members of the British royal family have used surrogates in ways that affected succession, making surrogacy either extremely rare or entirely absent from royal precedent. Even though history is full of examples of monarchs fathering illegitimate children who were acknowledged socially but barred from inheriting the throne. Henry I, for instance, is believed to have had around 25 children outside marriage, none of whom were eligible to rule, while Charles II had at least 14 children by various mistresses, all excluded from succession. Similarly, William IV fathered 10 children with his long-term partner Dorothea Jordan, who were recognized socially but had no legal claim to the throne. Royal history also includes marriages entered without proper consent, such as that of Prince Augustus, Duke of Sussex, who wed Lady Augusta Murray in 1793 without approval, leading to the marriage being declared void and their children deemed illegitimate under the law. These historical examples do not involve modern paternity fraud, where someone deliberately misrepresents a child's biological father, but they clearly show how seriously legitimacy has always been treated, as unclear lines of descent have historically affected inheritance, titles, and even political stability, prompting succession laws to become increasingly strict after centuries of wars and crises caused by disputed heirs. Against that backdrop, rumors surrounding Meghan Markle and Prince Harry have gained attention in recent years, particularly in tabloids and on social media, with claims that the couple used a surrogate for their children, Archie Harrison Mountbatten Windsor, born in May 2019, and Lilibet Diana, born in June 2021. Some commentators have argued that such a scenario could affect the children's place in the line of succession, with these claims amplified by figures like Lady Colin Campbell, who has repeatedly questioned details surrounding the births. However, official sources, including Buckingham Palace as well as Harry and Meghan themselves, have never confirmed any use of surrogacy, and fact-checkers have consistently rated the rumors as false, noting that fake social media posts and unverified claims have circulated despite mainstream reporting never mentioning surrogacy in coverage of either birth. Even so, the persistence of the discussion highlights how sensitive issues of paternity and legitimacy remain in the public imagination, particularly where the monarchy is concerned. Under current law, succession depends on recognized biological descent and compliance with existing rules on marriage and religion, not on the method of birth, meaning surrogacy alone would not automatically remove a child's rights, though it could still spark public debate, calls for greater transparency, and broader questions about how a modern monarchy should define legitimacy, illustrating how even unproven rumors can shape perception, fuel media scrutiny, and create lasting reputational strain despite lacking legal substance. The allegations surrounding Meghan's pregnancy are widely regarded as falsehoods, and several surrounding circumstances and documented facts strongly challenge these claims, even though speculation continues to circulate. Notably, the rumors that Meghan Markle used a surrogate never originated from verified medical evidence, but instead grew gradually out of online suspicion, internet commentary, and comparisons between her pregnancies and earlier royal births. To understand why these claims persist despite the lack of proof, it is necessary to separate what is documented from what is purely conjecture and revisit the timeline of publicly confirmed events. Meghan's first pregnancy was announced in October 2018, and according to Prince Harry, the news was privately shared with members of the royal family during the wedding of Princess Eugenie, a detail he later confirmed in his memoir Spare. This establishes that the pregnancy was known within the family months before the birth and was not introduced suddenly or retroactively. Their son, Archie Harrison Mountbatten-Windsor, was born on May 6, 2019, in London, and Harry gave a televised statement shortly afterward describing the experience as extraordinary and emotional, reinforcing the consistency between the publicly documented timeline and the couple's own accounts. Prince Harry said he was incredibly proud of his wife, and the couple introduced their newborn to the public 2 days later at Windsor Castle, choosing a brief presentation there instead of the traditional hospital steps photo call that had become familiar with earlier royal births. A decision that, while framed as a desire for privacy, became one of the earliest sparks for conspiracy thinking despite not being evidence of surrogacy. In his memoir Spare, Prince Harry gives a detailed first-hand account of the labour that strongly contradicts claims that Meghan Markle was not physically present, describing how a nurse placed the newborn on Meghan's chest moments after birth, how both parents cried, and recounting ordinary, unpolished details such as Meghan bouncing on an exercise ball, using pain relief, and eventually receiving an epidural. He even admits to accidentally inhaling some of the nitrous oxide intended for Meghan, a self-deprecating anecdote that reads less like a scripted story and more like an unfiltered birth experience. Harry consistently situates the delivery in a medical setting, stating that Archie Harrison Mountbatten-Windsor was born at the Portland Hospital, with clinicians present, details that align with a conventional hospital birth rather than a concealed surrogacy arrangement. 2 years later, when their daughter Lilibet Diana was born in June 2021 at Santa Barbara Cottage Hospital, Harry again described being in the room, standing beside the doctor as the baby crowned and recalling the tense moment before she cried. Repeated first-hand narratives across 2 births that further weaken claims the pregnancies were fabricated. Meghan also addressed the physical realities of pregnancy herself, speaking openly about gaining around 65 pounds during each pregnancy and enduring the strain of public life while expecting, disclosures involving bodily changes that would be unusual to volunteer if attempting to maintain a false story. For example, Archie's birth announcement did not follow the tightly choreographed pattern used for earlier royal babies, and Meghan Markle and Prince Harry chose to keep many details private, a lack of visibility that created room for suspicion, but still fell far short of proving surrogacy. In reality, one of the most persistent sources of these claims has been online conspiracy activists and trolls rather than mainstream media, with names such as Suddy Quinlan, Kizere Connolly, often nicknamed Murky Meg, and Natasha Cannell frequently linked to early campaigns that originated in private groups on platforms like MIWA before spreading to Twitter, YouTube, and TikTok, often through doctored images and repeated assertions that Meghan's baby bump was fake. Closely tied to this online ecosystem was Meghan's half-sister Samantha Markle, who publicly fueled speculation by citing alleged remarks from their father, Thomas Markle, about frozen eggs and questioning the couple's choices around the announcement and presentation of their children, even going so far as to argue without credible evidence that Archie Harrison Mountbatten-Windsor and Lilibet Diana should be removed from the line of succession. Another recurring figure in tabloids and conspiracy forums is Lady Colin Campbell, a British-based royal commentator who, despite presenting no medical proof, has repeatedly called for greater transparency around the births and suggested that unanswered questions invite suspicion. Claims that have helped keep the rumour cycle alive, even in the absence of substantiated evidence. Certain media outlets have amplified voices questioning the official narrative, even though no proof of surrogacy exists. Megyn Kelly, for example, has contributed to the atmosphere in which these rumours circulate. While she has never explicitly claimed that Meghan Markle used a surrogate, Kelly publicly criticized a video of Meghan dancing in a hospital room shortly before the birth of Lilibet Diana, calling it bizarre and uncomfortable, and suggesting that it echoed internet conspiracy theories questioning whether Meghan physically carried her babies. Comments like these, broadcast to wide audiences, have given further oxygen to the conspiracy, encouraging viewers to link ordinary footage to ideas of fakery. Some online speculation has even veered into extreme, unfounded territory, including claims that Meghan previously had a hysterectomy or that her posture and fashion choices prove she was not pregnant. Importantly, none of the prominent figures fueling these claims, including Suddy Quinlan, Keziah Connolly, Samantha Markle, Thomas Markle, Lady Colin Campbell, or Meghan Kelly, have provided any medically verifiable evidence to support surrogacy claims. The relentless speculation has taken a personal toll. Prince Harry has expressed that he feels Meghan is enduring scrutiny similar to what his mother, Princess Diana, faced decades earlier, though in Diana's case the rumours focused on whether Prince Charles was truly Harry's biological father, not on surrogacy. From the outset, Diana's troubled marriage to Prince Charles and her search for emotional support outside the royal household fueled speculation about Harry's paternity, illustrating how questions of legitimacy and parental lineage have long been a sensitive topic within the monarchy. Early speculation about Prince Harry's paternity drew from public fascination with Princess Diana's emotional and romantic life, though the timelines and genetics clearly debunk these claims. Diana was rumoured to have close connections with several men, beginning with Barry Monarchy, her personal protection officer in the early 1980s. Though not a tutor or teacher as some suggested, Monarchy became a trusted confidant during her unhappy marriage, providing emotional support, but there is no evidence their bond was physical. Later, Diana reportedly found companionship with Oliver, an art dealer, and in 1995, Dr. Hasnat Khan, a Pakistani heart surgeon, whom she was said to love deeply. None of these relationships overlap with the conception of Harry, and none provide any evidence questioning Prince Charles's paternity. The most publicized speculation focused on James Hewitt, whose confirmed affair with Diana began in 1986, well after Harry's September 1984 birth. Some observers cited Harry's red hair as evidence of a resemblance to Hewitt, but his appearance is fully consistent with the Spencer family genetics. Diana herself had auburn tones, and red hair appears elsewhere in her family. Differences in Harry's traits compared to Prince Charles are normal within inherited genetics, and do not indicate alternative paternity. Rumours were further intensified by Diana's tragic death in 1997 and unverified conspiracy theories suggesting royal interference. But there is no credible evidence to support these claims. Taken together, the timeline of Diana's relationships, the genetic facts, and verified records clearly establish that Prince Charles is Prince Harry's biological father. Observing these false claims, Harry has said that his wife Meghan Markle is enduring scrutiny similar to what Diana faced, highlighting the lack of support and the pressures of public speculation that can accompany royal life. The surrogacy rumours about Meghan and Harry remain unsubstantiated, with no credible evidence, and serve mainly to fuel public fascination rather than fact.